Good evening. This is Craig Setzer in CBS 4 Weather Control with the 8 o'clock intermediate advisory on Hurricane Dorian and the latest news I'll get to in just a second. There's not much change as of 8 p.m. But there is Dorian, and now the thing is, this is headed to the west, and we are literally going to have to, for about the next 36 to 48 hours, stare at this thing getting closer and closer and closer to us. Of course, the folks in the Abacos and the Bahamas there know that they're going to deal with a major hurricane event, a significant event. Grand Bahama as well. Those folks know that they are going to have to deal with a significant hurricane event. But we know from the models that we will not be dealing with a significant hurricane event, despite the fact that it is literally heading for the moment right at us. Now, here's the bigger picture, and this is the last 2 days. And as we look at it, you can see it's gotten much better organized. My gosh, now just a buzzsaw of a hurricane that has turned to the west. If we look at the track, that's the northwest motion, and then that big high pressure to the north, the blocking high, kind of got hold of it and started steering it there to the west. And we know that's going to last for about another day and a half before that high weakens, giving it the opportunity to go to the north. So you can see now it is basically on a west line. Now, one of the things that we're going to be watching closely in the coming days is Miami and Fort Lauderdale sit at about 26 degrees north latitude. And I'll show you that latitude on the hurricane in just a second. So if you follow that line out, Dorian is just a little bit north of that point right now. And it's going to probably travel along or just a little north of where it is right now for the next day. There's the motion over the last 2 hours. You can see it is almost due west, or probably is due west. There's going to be some wobbles. Try not to pay too close attention to the wobbles right now, because it's going to probably do that. The one thing we don't want to see are wobbles that kind of pull it south. Sometimes that happens. It's called trochoidal motion. That we wouldn't want to see that. We don't want to see that at all. So we'll be watching this very closely, and the 11 o'clock advisory will verify that all the models are still consistent, and the 5 a.m. advisory on Sunday will verify that the models are still consistent. And if they are, then we'll be feeling better about our impacts here on Monday. But for the moment, we've paused preparations. We think it's going to be a windy day starting Sunday night, and then especially on Monday and Monday night, very windy here with squalls passing through. So there is that current latitude line. Remember, 26 is that line that goes just due east from Miami, Fort Lauderdale. We're at 26.2, and that number may fluctuate a little bit in the coming days. We'll keep our eyes on that. Moving west at 850 miles an hour. Pressure's down. It may be even more intense at 11. There's the future track cone. That's where the center is expected to be. And then by Sunday, so we're Saturday evening now, Sunday afternoon, coming into the Abacos there, and then Sunday night and Monday through Grand Bahama, and that's when we should start to see that turn to the north, and then on to the north after that, carried up the east coast. The models this evening, these are the latest models. The European model will be coming in a little bit later on tonight, but the GFS model, that's from this afternoon. Of course, they start the same. The GFS model shows a little bit more northward motion, the European model a little bit on the south, and then there's that stall. That's on Monday, where the GFS model is moving, but the European model is stalled there through Monday night, and then finally on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then eventually Thursday, Friday off to the northeast. So here's the bottom line going forward, the way we see it. Category 4 moving towards the Bahamas, right on the upper end of Category 4, not too far from Category 5, a very, very bad situation for the Northwest Bahamas. For us, breezes build tomorrow, especially later in the day. Tomorrow is the last of our good weather days. So what we're going to do is we're going to prepare our homes, our yards especially, in a way that things can't blow around because it's going to be very windy here. And also we're going to see rain bands coming through. There could be power outages because of the winds, so we're going to keep our flashlights together and things like that. And finally, we're going to have gusty squalls on Labor Day, and that could mess up your plans. So stay tuned to CBS 4, and we'll keep you up to date.